Welcome to another episode of Candid Convos on LivehiphopDaily.tv. I'm your host, Mr. Southern Charm himself, REGE Lewis. Today we're going to jump right into our segment. This is 2014, a year to fulfill unfulfilled dreams. Happy New Year to you all. Our first guest is a celebrity. We're actually very, very privileged to have her with us this evening. It's the beautiful and talented actor and host, BRANDHYZE STANLEY. Woo-hoo-hoo!
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Hey,
Glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Now, let's start with the name BRANDHYZE.
Okay.
Where did Mom come up with that? I love it.
It was actually my dad.
Oh, she put your dad in charge.
Only on that.
Oh, yes, okay, all right.
With my name, it was a lawyer on a soap opera.
Oh, wow.
From like the 70s. Wasn't even around when it came up with this.
That's a bit of destiny in that.
I like to think so.
Hey, because you did soap, right?
I did.
All right, we're going to get into that. Before we do, just briefly tell us where you're from.
Originally, I'm from Indiana. A small town called Michigan City.
Okay.
Only reason you would know it is if you went outlet shopping there. It's very small.
Wow, is it smaller than Gary?
It's near Gary. It's like 30 minutes away. That's the city everybody attributes to. I like to say South Bend.
Oh, okay.
It's near South Bend, but yeah, very small town.
Okay. 30 minutes from Gary.
Yep.
All right.
So they're originally from there. And so, yeah, well, we grew up in the town my dad grew up in, and we stayed there. I stayed there until I went to college in Chicago.
Wow, were you dying to get out? Was it one of those things that I can't wait to graduate from high school to
I kind of
leave?
was.
Yeah.
It was small, you know. I thank God that I got my start there and my own growing roots there, and I learned a lot and got a lot of beginnings there. But yeah.
Do you get to go back often?
I just went. My grandfather just passed away a
Oh,
couple weeks
wow.
ago, so I just was there. And but yeah.
All right. So after high school, you mentioned a college in Chicago.
Yes.
Okay, what's the name of that college?
Loyola University, Chicago.
Okay, and then you went there to study?
I studied accounting.
Okay.
So I got a degree in accounting, majored in accounting, minored in Spanish.
Oh, wow.
But like 2 weeks later after I graduated, I moved to New York to become an actor. So
Wow.
say I make a mean spreadsheet is what I say. That's the
that's the way to say it.
I get.
Okay, so the question that's coming, it's the inevitable question.
Dum, dum, dum.
How did you get the acting bug? How did that
I
happen?
think it was always kind of there.
Yeah.
Like growing up in church, like my grandmother would put on me like performances.
Right, Easter Sunday.
There you go.
Yeah.
I played the drums in church. Like it was just.
Oh, really?
It was a small church, so we had to fill in many roles.
Oh, wow.
Play
Wow.
piano, go collect some offerings, do an announcement.
Yeah, that junior usher boy. I know about that thing, yeah.
But yeah, so I wanted to like get out and kind of do it. My high school Spanish teacher apparently says that I always said that I wanted to do this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Wow.
I just didn't think, growing up, I didn't think that you could make a living doing it. If you weren't Denzel or Charlize Theron or some A-lister, I didn't think that you could make a living at it.
Right. I think that's the biggest misconception in this business, that in order to make it, you have to be a household name.
Yes.
And I think that a lot of people get that confused.
Yeah, there's still
if
so
you're
much-
making $60,000 a year, you've made it. You know,
Yeah.
hey. So I think that's where the confusion is, and I think that's where a lot of parents sort of get nervous.
Absolutely, because you don't think I think you automatically think like, you're gonna be back home living with us, aren't you?
Right. Or I'm gonna be paying your expenses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have to finance your dream, but it's not that at all.
It's not. So during college, is that you started doing some shows, or was it after college you started acting?
It was towards the end. Like I did it in study abroad program where I went over to Costa Rica and did some Spanish.
Oh, wow.
Like, I started to like get into independent film, so I had my first.
In Costa Rica?
No, when I got right back.
Oh, when you came back?
I did my first independent film, and I really enjoyed doing it.
Now, was it something that someone suggested for you to do with this independent film, or was something that was really lying inside it?
I started like looking at the postings for things to go out for. And so I was like,
Oh, really?
That'll be interesting. Let me go throw my name in the hat for that. Or let me go to the theater and see what I can, get into. But at this point, it was kind of, they had already picked their productions and things for the year, so it was a little hard to get in there. But the first opening I got for a film, I jumped on the opportunity.
So for you, studying accounting was one of those things that you wanted to do to provide security? Or is it something that you really, really wanted to do? I'm just trying to figure out, where did this desire to start acting actually come in, or was it already there?
It was already there.
Yeah.
But in college and high school, I enjoyed my international business classes and other stuff, and just the adding things up and just the satisfaction that came with the financial classes that I was taking. I'm like, I think I can do this. And then it's like, what kind of jobs can I get with that? Let's see. Chief financial officer. They make a lot of money. Let's do that. But then after like my third internship, because I got an internship freshman year, and so I went somewhere every summer around the country to go on these internships to work for this insurance company. Okay. And one summer was really fun. The other two was like watching paint dry. Like literally, one summer was like a stack of numbers on the computer screen, and you just compare the two. And I'm like, if I have to do this the rest of my life, it's not going to be good.
Yeah,
so I'm like, what we do now is, you fine by the seat of your pants. It's a walk of faith, but I wouldn't trade it for the world because I enjoy what I do.
Wow. Okay, so you started acting in Chicago with this independent film, and then did you go to LA? You just hung out in Chicago?
I came right to New York.
Oh, you came to New York?
As soon as I graduated.
So how did that transition happen?
I was looking, during this time I was in my business school. I was running the Dean's Advisory Council and the Lady in the Career Center.
Listen, I was running. Larry, I was running.
A hard time. So I went and talked to the Lady in the Career Department, and I'm like, I saw this listing for Wilhelmina Models. They had an internship. The listing was like 2 months old. I was like, I wish I would have saw that. And while I'm talking, she takes the phone number and starts dialing. I'm looking at her like,
really?
She's like, we're calling Wilhelmina. I'm like, we're calling Wilhelmina, really? So she called them, and they still had openings. And so literally, I lived in the dorms at NYU for the first summer, but nobody would take me seriously coming from the Midwest and wanting an apartment. Nobody would call me back.
Wow.
So I lived in the dorms by myself, no air conditioning. I was like on 10th and 5th, but I was in New York, and I was doing what I wanted to do. So made like $35 a day. So I have to work there all day and then moonlight and go to Banana Republic and Rockefeller Center and work in the evening and on weekends.
And that's what that experience was like.
Yeah.
So, and then once you got to New York, it was like, I want to stay here, I want to go to LA.
I tried LA once. I didn't empty out my apartment or anything. I just, I'm going to try it. I had an aunt living there, and I packed up my stuff, and I went out there, got a car, and rented it. And I had been in talks with Halle Berry's herself and her management about being a stand-in for a movie that she had coming up.
Okay.
And so I'm like, maybe I didn't get it. Didn't hear back, so I went out there. And as soon as I got out there, they said Halle wants to, have you come in and do the movie, and the DP needs to okay you. So I literally had to fly back to New York. And they said flew back to California, packed up the stuff, and then came back to New York again.
Wow.
I've been here ever since.
So that was going to be my next question. Talk to us about some of the projects that you've worked on and some of the projects that you're working on right now.
Working on right now, starting to write my own stuff actually.
Okay.
So I've always wanted to do stuff with different accents. I'm going to work on an African accent, so I'm starting to write stuff for that. Just finished a short called 1118 I was working on.
Okay.
And a web series called For Colored Boys. Great opportunities.
Yeah, there's a lot of buzz about that series. Tell us a little bit about the role you play on that.
My role is Lynn. I played Benjamin is the husband. He has a wife that is one of the central characters, and I play her younger sister.
Okay.
So
recurring.
Yes, so it's even something, especially in the second season, it's going to really heat up and get some interesting stuff going on. So I'm having a lot of fun with it. Great cast to work with. The writer-director, very talented, so I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about that series. Actually, I have a friend that's in it, Rob Morgan. I look to get Rob in here soon, so Yeah. So, with that role, how was it working on the set of For Color Boys?
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. You know, they have a lot of people that I've wanted to work with, like Boogie and
Right.
Stacey and some back to Victor and Rob. Like, you see all these New York actors around who've never been in stuff together. Yeah, so it was really great to finally, have that all. Sean, like I did a film called My Brother 5-6 years ago. We were in a club. It was a film with Vanessa Williams where I knocked him out in a club. And so it was great, like, 7-8 years, I think it was later.
Working with him again. Yeah.
So really cool.
And this is a web series.
Yes.
So if people wanted to watch it, they can just log on to For Color Boys?
Yes, Color Boys on YouTube is where it's primarily now. It's
Okay.
There's a lot of buzz that's getting another destination pretty soon.
Okay, so that's For Color Boys on YouTube. Now, what episode, if they wanted to skip episode, let's watch the whole thing. But if you just want to get to the beautiful and talented BRANDHYZE, then what episode do they introduce your character?
I think it's episode number 6.
Number 6.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm at the top of the episode, so you don't have to scan very far.
Right. Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's great. Now let's back up a bit.
Okay.
She just tried to slide something in on me. This Halle Berry thing. I mean, you just tossing Halle around. Halle is not only drop dead gorgeous, but she's an Academy Award winner.
Yes.
And she's representing us well. I'm gonna want you to get into that story about this whole little Halle Berry thing, because I'm sure there's more to it than what you just sort of mentioned, and I'm sure that it'll inspire a lot of people. So we're gonna take a break in just a minute, and when we come back from break, we're gonna talk to you about this opportunity you had to work with the Academy Award winner, the lovely, take my breath away, Halle Berry. We're gonna be right back. Again, we have the beautiful and talented BRANDHYZE Stanley, and I'm your host, Mr. Southern Charm himself, REGE Lewis. We're live on LivehiphopDaily.tv with our special celebrity guest, the beautiful and talented BRANDHYZE Stanley. Now, before we took a break, we were talking about you working with Halle Berry, Academy Award winner. Walk us through that experience and what that was like.
It was an amazing experience.
So you get the phone call, you audition. I mean, what was that process like?
Well, rewind back several years. Like, there was a covered Revlon ad that they needed different women. Like, it was Kate Bosworth, Susan Sarandon. They all had to have someone as a stand-in for a photo. They just wanted to, do a mock
for the lighting and that
right, with Robert Altman.
Now, before you continue, let the audience know exactly the job of a stand-in.
Basically, it's your job to hold the position. They like to have someone who kind of resembles, but then again, I've stood in for a redhead before, so it all just
they're trying to play back the whole, I resemble Halle. I got the same features. Yeah.
But so they just wanted people who kind of had similar features to stand in for that person, and so I got to meet her then. And I'll never forget being like, oh, she's here. Wow. So throughout the years, whenever they would have Revlon commercials, I would see other stand-ins for other Eva Mendes and other people come and go, but thank God they would always have me for her.
Wow.
And so I would do it here in New York. When they called me up and asked me if I wanted to do it in California, I would fly myself out there and do what they call being a local hire, just so I could, have the opportunity to meet her once again.
Exactly, and that's what we do. It's part of the sacrifice.
You have to. Yeah. And so it was on one of those commercials. I think I did maybe 4 or 5 of those. Once I was reading her book by an acting coach of hers, Ivana Chubbuck. And I was, just wanted an opportunity to chat with her. So I was reading this book, and and a stand-in when she's coming, I'm going. So it kind of speak when spoken to. But
Exactly.
Then you only say hi so many times
Right.
a day. But I remember telling her that I was reading the book and how it inspired me and how I was enjoying doing these commercials, because watching her taught me how to like have a ball and look glamorous when you are on set all by your lonesome. And so I was just telling her how much I'd learned, and she's like, "Oh, you can't, learn from these." We got interrupted. We didn't get to finish the conversation, and I remember her coming back over to me, and I'm seated, and she crouches down on her knees in front of me. Should I offer him a chair? And so she's like, "Oh, you can't learn from these, but if you want, you can do a stand-in on one of my movies." And she's like, "Do you want to?" And I'm like, "Of course."
Yeah, let's do it.
Did the stand-in for the movie, and that was like 4 months of being on set with her for 5-6 days.
Wow.
Amazing experience. Bruce Willis, Giovanni Ribisi. I get to learn
Which
lines.
movie?
Perfect Stranger.
Okay, I remember that movie. Yeah.
So I get to run lines, with Giovanni Ribisi and set up a scene with Bruce Willis, and it was just an invaluable experience that I'm just like so grateful to have had. And from doing that, I even got to see her like last year for another commercial that I worked on.
Oh wow!
And it got to the point where she was like, "You know what? I want you to do other stuff. So if I don't call you to be a stand-in again."
That's why. This is why.
She gave me like her home phone number, her cell number. She gave me a diamond Chanel necklace,
Wow.
and it was just.
So you guys got to build a rapport.
Absolutely.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, that's amazing.
So,
that's amazing.
I wouldn't trade for the world. Everybody have their thoughts, but in my book, she is A-OK.
Right, I was just going to ask you that. Yeah, so that sort of summed that up. Now, do you think now, based on her winning the Academy Award, based on you actually being a black woman in this industry, do you think that the door is still not open as far as it should be, or you really don't complain about those sort of things? I mean, how do you actually feel about, the blacks, especially the black females, and the opportunities that in this industry?
A little both of what you said. I do think that the door isn't open as far as it could be. Mm-hmm. But what good does it do me sitting around complaining about it?
Right.
So I still, keep knocking at it. And I think opportunities like Kerry Washington being on Scandal are opportunities that allow it to get, just to creep more. Wedge over just a little bit more for them to see us in a different light.
Exactly.
I mean, what is it like since Diane Kerr played Julia, that black woman in the lead role on television?
Yeah.
And so,
and Shonda, her writing it, because it's her vision, is her world.
Yes.
So,
and her having other shows, Grey's Anatomy and all these other shows that are just continuing to spin off. She's, putting her hand out to other up-and-comers like Issa Rae, who's the Aqua Black girl. She's helping her develop. Shonda Rhimes, as they were doing, from my understanding. So it's like, when one of us makes it, thank God if we can reach back and somebody else pull somebody else along.
Well, see, that's my thing. I think that we're in a position where we can build studios and we can create these projects. I don't think that's far and few in between. I think that it should be order of the day. Where we are now, in this time frame, I just think that it should be order of the day. And we should do more to sort of, once we get in that position, to just sort of bring people along. I think that should be the protocol.
Yeah.
I think that that's what Tyler does. So when people start talking to me or mentioning the fact that they want to talk about the content in his movies, okay, that's one thing. That's an argument to me for another day.
Yes.
Because
I would do it with Tyler Perry probably
and I would too. And the people who say they wouldn't would too. Chances are, especially if they're not working.
Yes.
And the excuse would probably be, this script here, it's much different from the other stuff. It's not that, it's not that other stuff. So how do you feel about Tyler Perry and the segue he's making and the opportunities he's creating?
I think he has two different sections of movies. He has the Medea stuff.
Yep.
And then he has the Why Did I Get Married?
Yep.
And each time he does one, especially the Why Did I Get Married vein, I think it gets better and better. You start seeing the cinematography is pretty good on that.
I agree.
That's script.
I agree.
What's the one with Kathy Bates?
Oh, that's my favorite one. It's The Family That Prays.
You're like,
I love it.
That script was kind of
good. Yeah.
I think he's creating jobs for other people, which is a lot of people can't. So many people can't say that.
They can't say it.
So to have him, or it's enough out here for everybody.
It is.
He is paving a way in his own way.
I think he's created the blueprint. You go down south where land is cheap. That's no secret. There's no secret that land doesn't cost that much down there.
Right.
This cat just refurbished Delta headquarters. He saw a vision over in Greenbrier, because I lived in Atlanta for some time.
Okay.
So next to Greenbrier, about a mile down, mile and a half maybe, it used to be Delta's headquarters.
Okay.
So Delta moved, and it was just an abandoned building. And this cat happened to be riding by. He saw it. God bestowed the vision, and now that vision realistically exists. But that's the blueprint. We have people.
Say that he came from so much, and that is not the excuse he has. Living in his car, being like
just all the trials and tribulations he went through to get where he is.
Yes.
And
it just leaves
to just find fault about a Medea movie,
no.
Which is a franchise that encourages a lot of church folk who normally don't go to the movies.
Yes.
It allowed them to get together, have Women's Day. Hey, y'all, let's go out to eat, and then we're going to go as a group.
And it's a lot of
it creates that.
Yes.
It creates
He based that off some real people.
So for me, I look at the good in it. So if it gets my mom and her group of friends to get together, to go out to eat, and then catch the Tyler Perry movie, and it's Medea, I mean, how you going to knock that?
Yeah. Somebody is gonna find something wrong with everything. I heard that someone was heckling Steve McQueen.
I read that.
Someone is going to find something wrong with everything. So just do you.
Speaking of which, Steve McQueen, when was the last movie you saw? The last one I saw was 12 Years a Slave, I think. Oh, it was?
I tried to go see American Hustle recently, but couldn't see it. But 12 Years a Slave was the last one I saw.
Yeah. And what did you think about that film?
I thought it was challenging to watch. Don't get me wrong. It was hard.
Now throughout or different moments in the film?
Throughout, because even though it was only 6 scenes of violence, they say, the tension building up to those 6 scenes seems to last feels like half the movie.
I think for me, it built and it was challenging at certain parts in the film, because as soon as we would get to a place where it seems like we're about to go over the top, something would happen to pull me back. Okay. So I think for me, the challenges came and went away, But it was, I actually went to go watch it with a friend of mine named Nick Blue, and he's a Caucasian guy. And now that was challenging.
That experience.
Yeah, that was.
You want to keep cutting your eyes?
I cut my eyes a few times, But it was cool because he doesn't come from that place, but still, I mean, we're talking about, realistically speaking here, and he has his views and his values, and I have my views and my values based on where we both come from. Right. So just watching it, and that experience was challenging, but it was rewarding. We went to Cozy's after, and talked about it over a sandwich, and it was healthy for both of us. So we're gonna take another break. Stay tuned. I have the beautiful and, you say it, talented actor and host BRANDHYZE STANLEY. I'm just so happy to have her here. She's a very, very dear friend of mine, and this is a very, very rewarding experience and a way to kick off the new year. We'll be right back. And I'm still here. That's right. Right here with the beautiful and talented BRANDHYZE STANLEY. Yes. Right now, before we went to break, we were talking about just different movies, and of course we talked about your view on where the industry is, where it should be. We talked about Tyler and his projects. Is there any other movie that you saw this year that you felt represented us in a very, very positive light? It was a good story, good cast, good directing, the whole nine.
Positive light, I would say I enjoyed Best Man Holiday, actually.
I did too.
I laughed, cried a little bit.
Yeah, it was a little roller coaster of a movie.
Yes, it was great to see the cast all get back together again.
Right.
And just to see their banter and familiarity with each other. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too. I thought, I mean, I have to admit, I thought at first that, you know, because the first one, it's a classic.
Yes.
You know, it's in the neighborhood with Boomerang.
Love Jones.
Yeah, Love
there.
Jones. Yeah. So, I was like, and then I saw the trailer. You know, I remember watching the movie and I saw the trailer, and it's like, hey, it might be good. And then opening weekend, I was sort of amped to see it because I wanted to be a part of that whole first weekend experience thing.
Right.
And I enjoyed it. My eyes got a little wet. Yeah, I have to admit. And I think the story was good. I think the cast and the acting was good. I think there was some great directions. A lot of choice being made.
Right.
Now the way it ended, seems like we're gonna get a part 3.
I think so.
I'm back in that whole little, you know, area of, I don't know, maybe we should let that be.
No, well, I mean, if I can, some of the actors we don't see very often, and especially get to see them in the type of roles that they played there. Like Terrence Howard, he's kind of gone getting the Crash and other stuff, but to see him in that, to me, that is his lane.
Right.
That is what he does well. And it was great to see him as the comic relief. So
yeah.
So I enjoyed seeing everybody back together.
Yeah, and it was like it wasn't forced. You know, the energy wasn't forced. The material wasn't forced. I just thought I just enjoyed it overall. Now, I can see them possibly being able to do something with Harold's character, the ex girl, and Terrence. You know, if they go in that direction,
they might give him Morris Chestnut another. Well, I don't know if they would give him another.
You think so?
I don't know. Touchy, but Tay Diggs and Sanaa Lathan's character, I can see.
They have to get. Were they already married? I don't remember.
Yes,
they were already married. Okay, and then you got Nia and her new boyfriend and that whole dynamic.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, so I could see the possibilities.
I mean, it's not like they made the time between 1 and 2 wasn't like a year or nothing.
Right. So it could be another 15. Right. Yeah, because it was about 15 years. So now we got award season coming up. Anybody in particular you would like to see win something? Movie, one of the actors?
Again, we have to go back to 12 Years a Slave. Now, Chiwetel Ejiofor, however you pronounce his name.
Right.
I would like to see him get the Best Actor.
Yeah. What about The Butler? Do you think? I think Oprah kind of. Yeah, I think Oprah kind of pulled out the stuff.
Did his. I said, if nothing else, I want to buy the movie just to study his progression of age. And I heard that how it wasn't like, he thought like, oh, I have to be older at this age. I heard that the mindset he went into it with was like, each experience that happened to him in that part of his life, he kind of gave it physicality in his body. Oh. And so, like, just to see his progression, I was like, if nothing else, I want to buy that.
That's a nice little note for you actors out there. Yeah, I didn't hear that. Yeah, I know I went through watching a bunch of the videos on YouTube of the interviews that they did.
Okay.
And but I didn't catch him mentioning that. So thank you for dropping that jewel. Yeah, so we got the SAG Awards coming up. We got the Golden Globes. Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting because what appears to happen is a lot of these movies catch that deadline and then they start dropping, and it's all of a sudden you mentioned, they're talking about these movies that you don't know anything about.
Right.
And you have to go and watch them.
Exactly.
Because I was at the SAG office yesterday, and by the way, they have a new office.
They do?
Yeah, by the Lincoln Center. It's on it's 1900 Broadway between 63rd and 64th. Yeah, so we're gonna have like computers you can go. Yeah.
What?
Yep, go do printouts, a little lounge area. It's nice. It's still under construction.
Okay.
But they've moved in and they're getting it underway. So shout out to SAG, and the dues we pay, because I had to go drop a few dollars on some dues. But so you got the SAG Awards and you got the Golden Globe, and let's just see. Let's see what's gonna happen. I think you got Meryl Streep. She's coming because she got
yeah, that looks good though. But I mean, she really can't do no wrong.
She can't.
I had like a little mini movie spree of my own with Netflix where I watched a bunch of her stuff. And
so you put yourself in class. To me, I call that class. The reason why, because when I first started acting back at home in Augusta, we had a little Augusta mini theater. Okay. But he didn't really know, much, So what I would do is rent and buy a bunch of movies and of my favorite actors, and at that particular time it was Jack Nicholson. So I had The Shining, and I had, of course, Few Good Men, and I would study. I would write the script out myself. Wow. Yep, and then I would study, like even nights after the club, because I lived a nice little social life too. So, but it's funny, like social life. It's funny, like after I would come home, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, way past curfew, I would go in the living room and pull out the script that I've written from A Few Good Men. I'd go in there and kind of rehearse some stuff. And if I wasn't working on anything in the city.
It's the stuff like that it's like actors saying like, oh, I don't have anything to be doing. I'm not in a class.
Yeah, so see, I don't buy any of
that. You could be working on yourself and making yourself better. And I did a Meisner program for 2 years where they tell you, like, we as actors, it's our job to create human behavior. So we're like studying other people's stuff, and it's nothing to be like, oh, I like so and so in like Nicole Kidman in The Hours. I like something she did in that. Like, we borrow pieces of people's performances and
that's what equates to greatness. I mean, when you got people like Prince and Michael Jackson, I mean, just to use them prominent figures for an example. I mean, they say that. Yes. They say that. They say I took from this, and then it creates a level of greatness. Okay, now there's some other stuff that you do as well, hosting. Yes. Being one of those things. Talk to us a little bit about that.
I do on-camera hosting. I've been doing it about 6-7 years now, but I've had the opportunity to do tons of red carpets, been backstage at the Tony Awards. Like, oh wow! I've had the opportunity to interview everybody from Kim Kardashian and LeBron James to Anna Wintour and Mark Wahlberg. Like, it just
and if somebody wanted to, if our viewers out here wanted to see you in action in that realm, the hosting realm, where could they find you at?
I teach at TVI Studios.
Okay.
It's in the city. It's in Times Square.
Okay. And so you're teaching a hosting class.
I am.
Oh wow.
I am, and they just gave me an advanced class now. So.
So what, you got a beginning, entry level? I told y'all the lovely, beautiful, and talented BRANDHYZE. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So you have a beginning, entry level class, and then you have the advanced. How's that going for you?
Going well.
Yeah.
I try to impart every piece of knowledge that I have. I know you can't do it in 6 weeks, but like, I love having like students write back and be like, oh, so I bought my first, DSLR camera, or I got to do this red carpet today.
Yeah.
I downloaded the 30-page package you gave us.
Yeah, that's a feat for you too.
Yeah,
it's very rewarding.
It warms my heart to know that like I've helped other people.
Yeah.
And that I just don't like hoard every bit of information.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna tell them this, because they might get that job and that could have been for me.
We live in New York City. There's a lot of stuff to go around.
It's a lot of stuff to go around.
So I just try to share what I know.
So if someone wants to sign up for one of your classes, what do they? Let's tell them what they need to do.
They need to go to TVI Studios. I think it's their Twitter. I know it's TVI_studios with an S.
Okay.
That's their Twitter.
So they can log on to the website.
Yep.
Click on it.
Hosting.
Yeah, and then they'll see you.
The advanced one starts February 13th.
Okay. Oh wow. January 13th. February 13th.
Yep.
Okay.
So gearing up to that one.
All right, and you say the increments of 6 weeks. And then
the advanced one will be 5 weeks, but we're doing more teleprompter stuff. We're gonna teach. I'm getting more auditions myself, where you do demonstrations and have to, be learning your lines while you're delivering something and building something. We're gonna do ear prompter that let them.
Now, do you recommend this class for actors who?
I do.
Yeah.
Because just because you're an actor doesn't mean to make you a good host. It's just the fact of it, and vice versa.
Right.
And so you got to be able to pat your head and rub your stomach. A lot of times I say, be able to know your next question and be listening and not be like, yeah, as soon as you finish talking, I'm going to ask my next question, and I didn't hear nothing you just said.
Now, do you think that it helps also with interviewing, like if actors, if they have an interview.
Absolutely.
Or that's where the career is going to, they're going to start doing interviews and that sort of thing. You think it helps with that as well?
I think it does. I think it can do nothing but help. It's a great skill to have, teach you good listening, reacting, because especially the higher you get with the acting, you're going to be on red carpet, you're going to have producers and PR people poking you in the back and moving around, and it's just like organized chaos.
Oh, wow.
So I think it's definitely a good skill to be able to have. And it allows you to think on your feet. And I show you ways to practice at home and use this all stuff in the comfort of your own space so you can get better at it. But I think it's a good thing for actors as well. Okay,
tell them the website again and exactly, sort of navigate them to go to hosting and whether.
TVIstudios.com.
Okay.
And we're in New York City for that one because they have an LA one as well.
Oh, wow. Okay. New York. Yeah, and your girl BRANDHYZE is in charge of that, so it's something that you want to look into. So, what else do you have going on outside of acting? We have acting, of course. We have hosting, and anything else you're doing you want to make the public aware of?
I am a frugal style expert, so I found myself being amongst my friends the person who's always like, you know what, I can take you somewhere and get your whole bag of designer clothes for $25.
That's what you would say?
Yes, that's what I would say. Or I can teach you how to get, makeup for, free from MAC, and, teach you how to get a cheap apartment in New York City.
Wow.
So I found myself being that person. So I started a website, frugalnomics.com, frugal-nomics.com.
Oh, wow.
And
so this is more about where can I go to get some good deals?
Yeah, for your birthday.
Right.
Teach you how to get, free meal from IHOP and free underwear from Victoria's Secret and, cup of coffee from Dunkin' Donuts and get you some free wings from Hooters. Like, you can make a whole day of it.
Just free.
Of free.
Yeah, and living in this economy, free is
it's good. Yes.
Free is good. All right, we're going to take a break in just a minute. We're with BRANDHYZE Stanley. We just briefly got into talking about her website, Frugalnomics. We talked to her about hosting. You can go to TVIstudios.com, click on the hosting, and click on the BRANDHYZE, and you'll get to see what you need to do in order to sign up. Classes start February 13th, right? And advanced classes are 5 weeks, and the beginning classes are 6 weeks, or both are 5?
And beginning are 6.
6 weeks. Okay, now is there any type of audition they have to do to determine beginning and advanced?
No, they have counselors at TVI that can talk to you about stuff, but they can just go there.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So we'll be right back after this break with BRANDHYZE Stanley, and we'll continue talking about her website, frugalnomics.com. Stay tuned. Now, before we went to break, you were telling us a little bit about how we can save some money.
Yes. Always a good thing?
Yes, always a good thing. So tell us more about this website you have.
Frugalnomics. So I started a little over 2 years ago.
Okay.
And I just kind of wanted an outlet to be able to, share some photos and free stuff. And I have this thing where I think if I watch a YouTube video, that I could replicate anything.
Oh, wow.
Down to like reupholstering and everything. So I do a lot of DIY projects, and so I partnered up with Mood Fabrics. People may know them from the show Project Runway. They go to their challenges there at Mood Fabrics, but I'm their resident DIY person. So I have to do like a few projects a month, crank those out. But it's been an outlet where I've get to write, and just found out today I got featured on Huffington Post and Yahoo Finance. And
really?
Trying to save money on a larger platform.
Yeah, so with this website, do people advertise on it? Has it gotten to the point where people are advertising?
I do Google AdSense, so I'm able to make some money from it.
Right.
And when people click on it or visit certain pages, I do make some money off of it that way.
I was like, so kind of go into detail about if someone logs onto this website, what they can actually find. Let's say if someone was looking for a place where they can go get, some name brand thrift stuff, or free food, at a restaurant or a coffee shop. Tell us about the protocol that they go through Frugalnomics.
Okay, so predominantly I've kind of evolved into more of the frugal fashion stuff. So a lot of the thrifting, and I may go and show you how to take a whole bag of stuff and how I take that one bag of 20, 30 items and how I style it. So it's kind of a way for people to see like that you don't necessarily have to break the bank to look like $1 million. Like I've gotten a vintage Louis, a Gucci bag that I got from there. I get like Oscar de la Renta blazers
from
and
the
stuff.
thrift store.
From the thrift store. You can pick them up out of some pile, and still look like $1 million. And nobody has to know that you paid less than $1 for it.
Wow, yeah, that's something to know. Yeah. So as far as like food and that sort of thing, what about?
I do cover some stuff where you can go for food and like I said, birthday freebies, things you can get for your birthday, kind of ways to save. So I do try to cover a little bit of that as well.
Now, is some of the stuff, or a lot of the stuff, like time consuming, or because some people, people want something for nothing, but they want a quick fix at the same time. So you have to be willing to take out time to, sort of search through the thrift stuff. And
you do? Oh, for thrifting? Yes. Yeah. I do say it's but you can also go on eBay, and that's kind of my thrifting in my pajamas way of shopping.
Right,
We're going on eBay. But secondhand stuff, a lot of people think like, oh, it's smelly, it's dirty, it's somebody else's, seconds. But a lot of it's in great condition. You never know that I, got it from a thrift store. And it's a little bit of time. I'm not gonna say it's like as easy as walking into Zara and grabbing your size off the rack and going to the register.
Yeah.
But I think it's a rewarding experience to be able to say like, oh, I got this for 60 cents, or oh, I got these for $1.50. And
so you started this thrifting. Did it just sort of start, or like something you wanted to do?
I went to thrift stores in high school just to check them out. Like I had a small town, so people weren't really like donating high fashion stuff in Northwest Indiana. But as I moved to New York and started checking out some other stuff, I think you kind of get addicted to it. Like, oh, I got this suede bag, that was pretty nice. Or maybe let me go check out this one in this upper echelon neighborhood where they might be donating some nicer stuff.
So as you were doing that, you're saying to yourself that if people only knew.
Yes.
So
it's like a well-kept secret to some people.
Yeah.
Some people don't know about it. Some people don't do it. Some people think it's old mothbally stuff that nobody wants.
No, yeah, that's the perception.
Yeah,
that's the perception.
It is. But if check out this one on a certain day, or go to this neighborhood, I think you'll find different stuff. Yet, I say go on a day when you got a little time.
Right.
And you carrying a bunch of heavy bags and got your wear coat or nothing. Just check it out. I think it's worth the investment.
All right. And
then you can resell stuff. I started doing that.
Once you sort of had your way with it.
Yeah, it's like those, or like a place called E-Drop Off in Chicago. Like I would literally take 4 or 5 items that I got off the floor of some thrift store and ship them to Chicago. They pick them up for free if you have like 10 qualifying items. And they cut your check for like $150, and they do all the posting on eBay and all the pictures and stuff for you, and just send me my check.
That's some good stuff.
I did nothing but collect it and take it home and put it in a box.
I know, right? Yeah, that's the way to live and bring in some extra income.
There you go.
Yeah. Now, as we get ready to wind down with this segment, tell us something interesting about you that people may not know.
I can recite my alphabet backwards.
Did you hear that, Larry?
Prove it.
Okay. ZYXWVUTSRQPONMLKJIHGFEDCBA.
You better stop.
Wow.
Heard. Wow.
The African accent.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, that's putting you on the spot for real. Let's tell people where they can. I just want you to sort of run through some of the things, some of the places people can find you on YouTube, and if they're able to, where they're able to log on for the TVI stuff again, and Frugalnomics, and your Twitter, just all your little social media stuff, because that's what this platform is for.
Okay.
We created it, so it's no shameless plug. You don't have to say any of that. It's drive it home.
Okay.
So this is your opportunity to do that.
My acting and hosting website is BRANDHYZE.com.
Okay.
It's pretty simple. My blog is frugal-nomics.com.
Let's back up for a second and just spell Brandhyze,
yeah.
even though it's at the bottom, just.
Okay. B as in boy, RANDHYZE. HYZE.com.
Okay, let's go.
Frugalnomics, frugal-nomics.com is my blog. On YouTube, it's Frugalnomics, it's all one word, or BRANDHYZE if they want to see my acting channel.
And hosting stuff.
So, yep, hosting stuff as well.
Okay.
On Twitter, it's My Frugalnomics. That's the only one that's different. Somebody has sold Frugalnomics.
Oh, my Frugalnomics. Okay.
Instagram, Pinterest, everything else is Frugalnomics.
Okay, just one word.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Well, now we got a little on-air invite for you, right, Larry?
Let's do it.
Since you're a host, we want to invite you back at your convenience, of course.
Yeah.
To come back and join me hosting a segment.
I'd love to.
Even doing a segment of your own. We also are willing to work out something with you with your TVI students where, they may be able to come in and intern with you or come in and host for a bit.
That would be fun.
Yeah. So we'll run that through Larry, but I think that you've made a
Larry, like you just said it now.
Larry and her get the final say on that. But I think that would be very encouraging and rewarding and something for them to sort of look forward to.
I think so too. Because it runs the gamut. Some people, work with VH1, and some people are like, I've never done this before, and I just kind of want to try it out. So it runs the gamut of who takes the classes. Yeah, so that works. So we're grateful that you accept our invite. Yes,
so we're going to be looking forward to having you work with us on the show. And we want to thank all our viewers for tuning in to watch our first show of 2014, a year to fulfill unfulfilled dreams. Before I leave, I want to end the segment by talking about the story that I read very briefly. I was reading a true story about Arnold Palmer, and he got an invite to go and talk to an academy of blind golfers at their luncheon. And during the luncheon, one of the blind golfers, they didn't mention his name, they just called him in the story the blind golfer. So at this luncheon, the golfer challenged Arnold in a round of golf and also put a wager up for $10,000. So Arnold was a little taken aback by it. So he kind of hesitated a bit because of the guy's handicap. So in that silence, the blind golfer ended up responding to the silence by saying, "What's the matter? You're afraid to play a blind golfer?" So after that, Arnold took him up on the challenge and the wager, and Arnold asked him, "What time does he want to play golf?" So the blind guy said, "At 12 midnight. I said that to say this. A lot of us may deem where we are or what we're going through as a handicap, be it doubt that you have, lack of faith, be it your financial situation. But what you have to do is not make an excuse for your handicap, but find a way to use your handicap to your advantage." Thank you again for tuning in to Candid Conversations on LivehiphopDaily.tv. I'm your host, Mr. Southern Charm, REGE LEWIS. And thanks again to BRANDHYZE STANLEY for joining us. Thank you, and we'll see you guys next week.